speaking of zeroing in, let's get to our Bluejay breakdown. Creighton coming off a 75-60 win last night against North Dakota. They go to 3-1 on the season, but I'm going to be honest, JP, did not love it.
On the one hand, if they simply make open shots, they win by 40 with the way that North Dakota chose to play. It was very similar to kind of what Nebraska has done to Creighton in the matchup, where kind of it seems counterintuitive for what you know about Creighton and the way they want to do, but just give them threes and hope that they don't make them.
And had similar results to what Nebraska has when Nebraska's beaten Creighton.
Yeah. Except Creighton won by 15.
Yeah. But in terms of the actual shooting,
yes. Yeah. No, it's 1 for 17 in the second half.
That's very bad.
Hard to be much worse than that.
That's very bad.
And maybe 15 of them were like great wide open looks.
And they missed what, like 15 in a row?
So, I mean, they only went 1 for 17.
And the first one's at the very beginning of the half. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, to his point, unless they made one in the middle, you were going to get some staggering amount of missed numbers of shots in a row. I love the subtle delivery. Well, yeah, they were 1 of 17, Ravi. Like, how would you have done it? Like, was that one directly in the middle? You still would have missed 9 in a row.
Yeah, but 15 is worse than 9.
16 total misses.
You got to watch JP, man. He's tough.
Oh, yeah, he kills us in the group chat constantly.
Oh, no, it's just in person. But I do have a couple of questions, though, because it's easy. We do this a lot with hoops, right? We say, well, you just got to make shots. Just, at some point, you expect to return to some sort of normalcy, to the mean, right, of your shooting percentages of who these players have been. Who does it start with first, in your opinion? Is it Dix?
Yes, it definitely. Well, so McAndrew's leading the team in 3-point attempts, or he was before this last game where he only played 8 minutes and is dealing with a foot issue. So that kind of complicates it. He would be the first one just by sheer volume and the role he plays on the team. But now we don't kind of know what he's going to be day-to-day basis. The same thing that held him out of the Iowa State exhibition, kind of a lingering foot deal, not something that went away all the way, unfortunately. And it's something he's going to have to deal with. He just said it kind of flared up on him and shoot around and wasn't able to really push off without too much pain. So that's they definitely need to get him going, just because of one, the volume and the type of threes that he's able to take when they run their actions. He's a guy that can shoot a little quick release, awesome motion or whatever. Dix is definitely number 2 though. Like those guys right there, like the role players, those guys will settle in, and their attempts. Part of that, too, I think, is the number of attempts they've gotten. Some of these guys haven't been able to get into rhythm just because by nature of where they are on the depth chart, they're not going to get 5-6 shots to find a rhythm. But those two definitely are getting a lot of good looks right now. They're career really good 3-point shooters, and they're just not hitting right now.
All right, so Freeman shoots an excellent percentage, obviously, 6 of 6, but he has to work really, really hard to get it. Is there like... I mean, we're not going to go back to low post entry school to play through the post, but there has to be some easier set pieces to get him some cleaner, a little easier looks. What does that look like in this offense?
Well, in this game, specifically with the amount of doubling and trapping, I think that took away some of that. And they also missed some opportunities. They didn't want to take risky passes. I don't know if they saw hands in the passing lanes, because they're Conan and Freeman, both those guys were rolling free to the rim just because they were so aggressive sending to the ball, and guys miss some opportunities to get him the ball there. So a lot of the passes were just the kickouts to get the open threes instead of getting to the basket. So that I think that played a part. And then the Gonzaga game where it took 2 shots, they were just so physical at the point of attack, 1 through 5 all over the floor, that Creighton's
going to be a great defensive team this year.
Yeah, 100%. Creighton couldn't run any of their sets. So like that's part of why he was a non-factor in the game. They just couldn't simply give him the ball in threatening positions because Gonzaga was blowing everything up. So a lot of it is just kind of them executing better, and we'll get into some matchups where they will be able to play through him. The thing that I was most impressed by and that stood out to me is just his activity. The defensively, his hands. He had 3 steals and 3 blocks. He fighting for offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
He just
looked a little healthier.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not.
Well, I think he finished with 4 or 5 offensive rebounds. And
5.
they were hustle. Yeah. I mean,
a lot of tipping it to himself, and
13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 offensive, 3 steals, 3 blocks, like in just 20 minutes.
Probably had a couple more that other guys ended up getting credited for offensive rebounds that he caused
Kept
as
alive,
well.
Yeah. So the activity was really good. Now it's just a matter of maintaining that and then continuing to push forward as he continues to round back into shape. But it's going to be a daily process. That's not one that they can fix in the short term. It's other guys that I'm worried about right now that they have to really kick it into gear while he is working his way back to being the weapon that they think he can be.
More integral to how you think this season plays out, JP, the fact that, Matt kind of openly gushes about Jason Green, but it was a direct correlation to how long he'd been in the program, right?
100%.
Versus I don't want to spend a ton of time coaching effort and I need to spend more time coaching basketball. They're intertwined, but they're not. Which one will have more of an impact as this plays out?
Well, it's based on his quote about Hudson Greer as well. It kind of seems like the second one is as much of an issue as the first right now. It's not simply a matter of, these are new guys learning where they're supposed to be. These are guys that it hasn't quite set in how they need to play for this team and what they need to do in order to stay on the floor and to have success. And it was interesting. McDermott said he's probably got to get Jason more minutes, which I agreed with, and comes out here 28 minutes, despite this being his least productive showing so far this season.
Just 5 field goal attempts, right?
Yeah, and every one of those threes, they were all good looks. There were a couple of them that were halfway down and rattled out. The three ball is looking good for him, and he was off to a great start. Yeah. They just didn't go in like everybody else on this team, but just only 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He's just such a connector piece where even if he's not impacting the box score to a large degree,
no coincidence, highest plus minus
everybody else. Mm-hmm. And the difficulty there though is a lot of those extra minutes that he got him were from McAndrew not playing in the second half.
Because he finished in single digit minutes, right?
He played 8 minutes, didn't play in the second half because of the foot deal. And so Green has played almost no 4. He's been 3, he's been 5 to start the season up until this one. And then with McAndrew stepping out, that opened up more minutes for Green. So I don't know what that looks like when we get forward. It's kind of goes back to the overriding question for this. They got to figure out all that stuff that McDermott's talking about, but just the rotation and the lineups and how do they want to play? What is their best look? We're through 4 games now and plus 2 exhibitions, and I still have no idea. And I don't think McDermott has, because we saw even again. Mm-hmm. Inserting Greer into the lineup obviously changes things, but we saw different types of lineups even with him. Greer came in and was playing the 4 essentially to start the game. It was him and Harper at the 3 and the 4, and then the second set he came in, it was Harper and Greer at the 2 and the 3. So however you want to do that, so they went from a small lineup with Jason Green at the 5 to a big lineup where you've got a 6'7" 2 guard out there with Graves and a true center. So I think. They're still trying to figure out how do we need to play.
Let's start with a given. You think Blake Harper is going to be able to score? How does it fit? What does it look like in this offense if he's being efficient as a scorer? I used 6 of 11 last night, so I'm not knocking that or the style. What does it look like if
within
the things? What does it look like?
And it's probably not 4 for 8. He was 2 for 4 from 3 on the season before this, and he is. He shot 40% close to at Howard last year, but it's low volume. He's much more of a put the ball on the deck and attack and try to make things happen. The shot isn't super quick. And we saw he kind of shot one over the basket.
Man, I think their best scorer right now is the guy that puts the ball on the deck. That's different, kind of.
Yeah. So that's going to be more, and frankly, they need that. They need guys that can go and create and actually win their matchups. They don't have a lot of guys that are doing that right now.
Especially before the chemistry sits in offensively.
Yeah, Gray's struggling a little bit to kind of get to the foul drawing was in full effect in this game. Unfortunately, he went 4 for 9 once he got there. But in terms of 7 of his 10 shots were from threes, and that's kind of been we haven't really seen him consistently get to the basket. That's not been the case for Harper. And so it is he's going to be really effective when they kind of get the shooting back and the spacing improves and teams. Assuming Creighton does revert to the mean from that area, it's going to be harder to dig in on him when he's playing his bully ball, getting to the basket. So, and they run a lot of sets to get him in the little mid post. Try to get back screen to get him a favorable matchup and play through him down there. So I think that's going to be something they continue to do, is trying to get him there posting up at 15 feet and playing out of it, because he can pass and he can get back down and get to the basket, get to that left hand. So I think that's what it's going to be for the most part. Just kind of a lot of putting them in good spots, and hopefully as again everything comes together, they can run their stuff a little bit more crisply to get guys in favorable positions.
We all know how Mac hates fouling. Can Creighton play the way that they're going to need to play defense in the Big East and keep that same philosophy? Because obviously you don't really have the rim protection yet, and it's certainly, if you get some, it's not caulk. So what does that look like?
Yeah, and even North Dakota, you're seeing them finish over guys, and it seems like they're intent on playing Green significant minutes at the 5 because they think, and again, they got to find a minute somehow. And he's just undersized at that spot, 6'7", 6'8", whatever they've got him listed at. Guys are going to be able to go over the top of him, even if he's in position. We saw that, again, even a team like North Dakota finish inside sometimes. So, yeah, I think, again, they're continuing to experiment with the way that they play, with trapping ball screens, hedging, blitzing. They showed a little like token pressure once he had that bigger lineup with Greer at the top of the key. So we'll see. And Greer, part of why he's going in there is because of his athleticism and his intensity on defense, his ability to rebound. So that should help on that end. He'll probably have some blown assignments here and there as he kind of figures it out. But everybody else is having those too. So I think you're willing to take the risk for the potential upside there. And that's part of the quote that Matt gave in his long answer about why Greer burned the red shirt is just thought about it. Like after watching that Gonzaga game, looking at like for us to be a good team in January, it's probably going to include Hudson in the rotation. So we got to get ready for that. But yeah, defensively, like they've got to figure some things out. And I think that's probably part of why Mac was as frustrated he was and did pull that red shirt for Greer is just some guys aren't quite getting it. And so I don't know. It's similar to the rotation defensively. I don't know that they know how they want to play. They're continuing to not foul at a great rate, but like you said, it doesn't work quite as well when you don't have a 7'1" rim protector that nobody can finish over waiting. So if guys are able to get kind of free drives to the basket, then they're going to have a better chance of finishing than they have in the past. So maybe you do have to up the physicality a little bit more at the point of attack, risk some fouls, but they also don't have a lot of guys that maybe excel playing that style of defense. So a lot of pieces that they still have to figure out, which isn't a great spot to be in, but also you talk about how it doesn't feel great watching this game. They still got some time, especially once we get to the Big East to figure things out. Obviously they need to be on their in their best shape heading into this Vegas tournament. Doesn't feel that way, but
not a ton of time for Baylor.
Yeah, I would say they've got to figure these things out pretty quick here with Baylor, and then a regular season matchup against Iowa State coming up this upcoming week. That is our Bluejay breakdown for the week with Jacob Padilla, and that is the end of the show for the day for Hurrdat Sports Live.